welcome to the Joy Agenda podcast, the podcast all about joy with me, Hannah Campbell.
And me, Jay Lafferty. And today in Monkey Barrel Studios, still we're on our Fringe specials. It is August at the moment. It is roasting. We are joined by comedian, actress, all around fabulous lass. It's Tiff Stevenson.
Hi.
Terrified by the dancing.
I didn't know what was happening. I was like, am I supposed to join in? I sort of want to.
Yeah, we do like to surprise people with the dancing.
Yeah.
And people are either like, ooh, or oh my God, what's happening?
Well, there were some da-da-das as well. So there was dancing and vocalising.
It's a full Fringe show.
Yeah. 5 stars.
We're taking up the road onto the Royal Mile.
Okay, 5 stars, Tiff Stevenson. I'm putting that on my poster next year. Yeah. Hey, how are you, Tiff?
I'm good. I'm sans makeup, but we can be makeup free and not completely panic about it in our 40s.
Your Pamela Anderson moment.
Yes.
Your
People
Pammy.
often compare us. I love her. I did see a video. I don't know if you saw this recently. Someone shared on Instagram of just men responding to Pamela Anderson's no makeup, and the absolute trolls and goblins that had the nerve to pop up on the internet and try and say that she was ugly or old or used up. It was just like, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Unreal. Yeah. Today, horrendously saw a post by football pundit Tam Cowan, and he was giving a lot of shit to trolly men, because basically this young girl, and she must be about 16 or maybe 17, she looks very young, she could be even younger, her name is Sky something. Anyway, she signed for the women's team.
Cool.
And the trolling on the post was so bad that Tam Cowan was like, this is horrendous. This is a young girl who has like signed for her first professional team. And the fans of that team are being so horrendous. She has some acne. That's it. That's it. And
like a teenager would do.
Like a teenager would have. Yeah. And oh my God.
People are just vile on the internet.
Yeah. But also you'll go and look at all the people posting about it and they'll have acne, or they'll be, you know, never leaving the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Or furiously masturbating.
Exactly. Tam Cowan's like, these are all sad men in their mother's basements. And I was like, go on yourself, Tam. Well done for calling the fucking shit out.
Absolutely. And it's just like, because she'll probably see some of that.
Oh, I'm sure she'll see all of it.
And it's such a shame. And it's just completely misplaced, like so cruel for people to do that. So yeah, it's always people with like their profile pictures like a car. And you're like, fuck off.
Anytime I get trolled, it's a guy with a car.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like a big, heavy guy. And I'm not body shaming, but how dare you comment on somebody else's appearance when, you know, you're sitting there with a car that you don't own.
Yeah, exactly. That's what these men were. It was like the most atrocious array of like not atrocious. And no, I'm going to say atrocious because they were being atrocious, but I was like, there's no sense of self-awareness here that you want to come for a woman for and then basically say she's used up, like kind of like slut shaming her. It was awful.
And she's so gorgeous.
This is the thing. Yeah. She's so gorgeous.
I mean, if I looked like Pamela Anderson, I wouldn't wear makeup.
No. Well, but like, she wouldn't even, the part of the rage is that she wouldn't even look at you, mate. If you passed her on the street, she wouldn't give you a second glance, and maybe that's made you very angry all your life, but you've got to do some work on yourself. Maybe stop spilling it out onto the internet, you absolute lunatic.
How is your Fringe going? How are you enjoying Fringe?
Fringe is all right, yeah. I'm at that point of it now. We're sort of near the end. A couple of days ago, I did have my I want to go home day, which you must have every Fringe. I've been enjoying it. I love the show. There's just so much of the Fringe you can't control, and that's all the bits that tend to like frustrate me or get on my nerves. But the weather's been nice, which is great for general well-being, but also maybe not as good if your show's on in the daytime sometimes. But yeah, it's been I'm trying to get out to see stuff now. I'm at that point where I'm going to I need like sort of fresh eyes and to feel a bit reinvigorated, so I'll go out and see other people's shows and stuff like that. And I do stay in Portobello, so it is very nice for that to just go down and wander to the beach and not be. The older I get, the further out of town I stay, and the earlier in the day I go.
It's nice to just escape the madness, and it's so nice down there, and you can just wander along the beach and kind of escape it for a little bit.
Yeah,
escape the crazy.
Let's put a pin in one of the items for things that don't bring me joy.
Okay, all right. We shall get to that.
Yeah.
how has your Fringe week been since we last spoke?
Good. Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, we're just sort of over halfway towards the end now, but it's been really fun. Like, tiring, and you're right, it's everything that comes with it. So for me, I'm like out flying my show and doing all this sort of stuff, and normally it's fine, but sometimes when the 10th person just looks at you up and down when you try and hand your flyer, you just want to be like, well, don't fucking take it then. Like, it's fine. But the shows have been really good. I've had good audience reviews, I've had decent numbers as well. But you're right, with it being hot, my show's at 4:20 and I'm on the grass market, and you're trying to flyer people and they're just looking for a beer garden, they're just wanting to sit out and enjoy the sun. But it's been pretty good so far.
How do you handle flyering before? Because I have flyers, I haven't flyered for since 2007 or something. And although sometimes if I'm doing a late night spot, I'll hand out after because I've been on stage.
Yeah.
And I feel bad asking flyers to come out at 1 a.m. and hand them to people. But someone said to me the other day, someone who does fly their own show said they like to do it after they've performed. So they'll go around in an evening after and chat to people for the next day because they find it depletes them before. Because when people don't take them, it does affect your confidence before you go on stage.
Health, for sure. Yeah, you want to be in a good space.
I do find that. I just find, for me, I have to flyer before to get people in, because my pre-sales have been pretty decent this year, but you always want to have a full room as possible. So I find that if no one flyers your show like yourself, and no one's going to sell it as well as you, and people love it when and they're like, oh, is that you? I'm like, yeah, it's me. So I wish I didn't have to do it, but I do, and I actually don't mind it. You just chat to people. Most people are really nice, but this year I've been stopping about 45-50 minutes before the show to give me time to go back, reset, and then I pay 2 flyers to go out and do the last hour. So whereas last year I was flying until 5 minutes before the show, and that was quite tough, but this year I've not had to do it right up to then. So yeah, it's fine, but it can be a bit tricky.
It probably does get the most people in.
It does. That's the thing. It's
fill the room, right? And
I feel bad. I feel guilty because if I don't do it, I could be like, I've got 25 pre-sales, that's fine. And then I'm like, but if I'd gone out and flyered, I could have had 50, or I could have. So I feel really guilty if I don't flyer. So.
Yes, yeah.
But it's all right. How's yours going?
It's been going great.
Yep.
Except for yesterday.
Well, I did run into you yesterday after, and I would like to hear what happened.
Yesterday's show, I had, if you were there and supportive, then I do apologise, but it was one of the worst audience I've ever had in a Fringe hour in my life. I have no idea. Well, no, I do. I've kind of been analysing it, and I think I do have an idea what happened. Okay. So I have this voiceover thing that plays before the show, and generally I can tell how they react to that, how much work I'm going to have to do at the top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they reacted to it all right. It was quite a positive reaction to it. There was quite a lot of laughter. And I went on stage, but as soon as I opened the door to walk on stage, I noticed there were 4 men, and middle-aged men who are quite often my audience. I do have middle-aged men come in, but they did not look happy to be there. And they had turned their chairs so they were practically facing the back of the room.
What?
They were turned really. It's really weird to describe. They were in the second row, and 2 of them had turned their chairs. So not only were they kind of had their back to me, but they were it was quite negative to the audience who were kind of around them as well. And I was like, well, that's a bit odd. And then I got on stage, and within 5 minutes, I was like, oh, this audience are tense. And I ploughed through. I got through to the first sound cue. And after the first sound cue, and jokes that usually get the whole way that I've kind of structured the show is that it's a train journey. So it starts off kind of slowly, and it builds and it gets faster and faster and faster as we go through the show. So it is a slow build. So I'm used to it taking it where they're trying to, what is this? But the ones that usually land, they were getting nothing. And then I don't know that these guys, one of them just was sitting with his head in his hands. And I was like, what is going on? So at that point in the show, probably about 15 minutes, I kind of stopped and I went, everybody had a family member pass away today. What is going on? Has there something happened in the half an hour before my show starts that I should be aware of? What's going on? And they all kind of laughed at that. Mm-hmm. So there was a kind of recognition that the room was a bit weird, but they didn't really give me anything back. And I ploughed on. And I go into Goldfish, which is like
a killer,
which I've done in
always works.
I've done in tiny little pub bars to 3,000 seaters. It's a routine, smashes. And it got them, but at a very low level. And there's a bit where I came off stage. By this point, these guys, they were like chatting to each other. They were like, God. These two guys. And there's a bit where I come off the stage and I'm playing like an angry woman on the train.
Right.
And like she's had a terrible night. And I usually just walk around the audience and it gets quite a big laugh because people recognise it. And I just bent, this guy was like this. And I bent right down and into his face. I went, have you had a good night? I've had a terrible night. And I was like, I just wanted them to know, no, I can see you.
Yeah.
And your vibe is fucking this up. And and the more I think about it, I was like, I don't know what went on just before I came on stage or whatever. I don't know if it was their vibe. I don't know what was going on. But from that point on, I went, oh, no, you're not going to break me. I am going to play this, because there was two reviewers and an agent in. Of course there was.
It's always on the worst gigs.
And I was like, I am going to play this tits and teeth. I am going to play this as if every single person in this room thinks I'm a fucking rock star.
Yeah.
And like, and like my tech Callum was just going, he said it was so funny. I saw the change in your eyes when you just went, oh no, fuck these guys. They're getting it. They're getting full like jazz hands. And there's a bit right at the end of the show where I'm like explaining because I start off going, you know, I don't know why I've called the show oofed. It's such a hard word to describe. And then I kind of finish up with like, so this is what oofed means to me. And there's a whole bit where I do callbacks to like things that are in the show. And then so I'm like, so you know, it could be you lose your inhibitions on the train, your 5-year-old child teaches you boundaries, you realise you can plait your nipple hair, you manage to get through the quietest thirsty audience that has ever been known to man. And they all kind of laughed at that, and I went, and you don't let it break you, you will not break me. And they all laughed at that, and I was like, oh, you know, you've been fucking awful. Like, I know it's not the show. The show has been getting 5 and 4-star reviews. The show has been smashing. This is you. This is not me.
Yes.
And so that.
But the head in the hands thing is like, what did you think you came out to? And why do you think it's okay to visually I can see you?
That is crazy. There's nothing worse.
So that was what, and I all day, I came off stage at 6 o'clock. Then I had to go and do 4 gigs. And I took that anger at this audience.
But it's them. It's definitely them, because the show is amazing.
I was like, you're getting the full show, like, and the show's not like even the award-winning shows, Perry nominate, whatever you want, they'll not be for some people, and that's absolutely fine.
Yes, but it's like don't disrupt the show to the point that I'm unable to do the show. I guess sitting with your head in your hands and turning your chairs away. If they're just sat there with faces on them, there's not a lot you can do. You go, I can't. And sometimes you have to realise as well. I mean, not in this case, but you know, sometimes you have an audience that enjoys the show in the way they want to enjoy it. Yeah. And sometimes if there's a slightly more theatrical moment or something a bit more heartfelt, they really feel it, and then that's the way they're experiencing the show. And you want to be like, but I need the audio, I need to hear the laughter. But you have to remember that they're different every day. And also I sometimes berate myself if I miss a bit of the show, you know, in what the arc of the show is or what I want to say, and I've gone, oh, I did miss that bit, I didn't set that. And they don't know what the show is because they've not seen it. So they're just experiencing what you're giving them. But you know, it's insane to also to come up to you and say it as well, make a point of saying it. I feel like it's like she's angry at him, she's angry at you.
Just like, so unnecessary.
But it was fun. I mean, it did really make me laugh. But I felt like going, your vibe affected this entire room. But I don't know what it was, because it was before I even went on stage, these guys had done this, and I was like, why did you buy the ticket? Like, you couldn't tell anything from before I went, unless it was just the voiceover
Did
thing.
Raymond hold them at gunpoint or something?
I don't know. I feel like, and I mean, I absolutely love Raymond, and he sent people to my shows before, and and it's been grand, and it was just a very weird experience. But I feel like it really tainted the whole room, because the whole room was aware of their vibe.
Yeah, they felt tense.
Yeah.
And it just splits the audience. And as soon as they're not connected, it's really hard to just,
So I hope, but I hope I don't get another one like that, because it was honestly, I came out and I met Jo Caulfield straight away as I came out, and she was like, hi, and I was like, cunts.
It's just so weird. I remember like it was the first Tuesday. I had a cracking gig on the Monday, got like 5-star review. It was a great gig. And then the Tuesday was something like that. And it was just, they were giving me nothing. And then you try and like reference it and you're 10. And it was just, and of course, it's when I had like a reviewer and another one. And it was just, and you're just like, I don't know what to do because this was great last night. And you try not to, and so it's so tricky to have to deal with it.
That's the thing about the Fringe is that you kind of, once you get to this halfway point, you're kind of like, you know what your show is, be it good or bad.
Yeah.
And you've made your peace with it.
Yeah.
And so you know what you've got to give.
Mm-hmm.
And so when audiences, and in a collectively like that, you know, there's always like, I've done rooms where everybody else is laughing, but there's like one person and you focus on that person, don't you?
Yeah.
You be like, why are they not enjoying it? Everybody else is having a great time. And then they come up to you at the end and go, oh, that was amazing. And you're like, oh, you just have a resting bitch face. That's fine.
Yes, you have, resting unenjoyment face. But they do, I mean, I think all the sort of, I remember one year I was at the stand and then some judges were coming back in from the, and you know, I was producing it just with the stand myself. So my poor husband was running around going, I need to get some more people in the show. I don't think we've got enough in today. And it's really important that we have a busy show. And he papered, and then he, bless him, he like felt guilty for weeks afterwards. He brought in this couple and then they just sat at the back and talked the whole way. No. It's like they'd used it as just a room to be in so that they could talk. And like I had to like address it during the show. And you know, when you're there kind of going, well, like now I've come out of the show.
Yeah.
And now we're back in the show. You know, I think especially if you're doing a concept show.
Yeah.
I don't think I was doing a concept show. I think it was a stand-up show, but there were some slightly heavier bits in between the laughy bits.
Yeah.
You know, where you're going, I've got
You're
slightly more.
storytelling.
Yeah. There's slightly more exposition here, but I've crafted it well, but it's a heavier bit. And I can't come out of the middle of the heavy bit. So I have to wait until I've got the next big laugh to then go into, you know, this couple who are then, and then I find out afterwards, and my husband's like, I'm so sorry. Oh. And I was like, it's not your fault. He's like, yeah, but I just dragged them in off the street just to get, you know. Yeah. And that's just how, sometimes how it goes. There's so many elements of Edinburgh that are like out of your hands, like I say, out of your control. And are due to luck, due to timing, due to everything else. And so that's why it's hard to keep your peace here.
Yeah.
Because even if you're good at controlling your bits of it, all the other stuff's happening.
Yeah, exactly. That's for sure. We should ask you the question that we brought you here to ask. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Tiff.
Yeah.
What brings you joy?
The French.
The French. We have never had
We've never had the French. No.
Tell us.
No, I do. My grandmother was half French, but I love the French. Even the bits that I hate about the French, I love the French for its Frenchness. One of the big things, and I talked about this a bit in my show last year, is how the French protest. So, you know, we had this waspy pensions thing here.
Yeah.
You know, and there were women who'd missed like 10 years of, you know,
the
pensions.
waspy women.
Yeah, the waspy women. And I was sort of talking about the cost of living crisis, and I was sort of comparing us in the UK, how quickly that was like normalised, austerity and all of that, and these pensions. But if they were in France, they would be taken to the street, you know, gauloir in hand, zero fucks given. Yeah. That's one of their things I respect, is how they get into it, how they protest. So we had the waspy women lose those. In France, I think they tried to up the pensionable age. Like there was very little noise here, I guess, apart from some of the women speaking up and trying to be heard. But in France, when they tried to raise the pensionable age, I think from 60 to 62, which is still less than ours, they were out, you know, as they were like, it is liberty, égalité, fraternité, not eternity, motherfuckers. we need to retire. We need to drink our wine. That's another thing I love. Just a diet of meat and cheese and red wine, like fill up on it.
And they look great.
Unbelievable.
Somehow still look like supermodels on this diet of
what
like.
is going on?
They look
the
so
French
good.
know something. And they're like, they know how to drink and eat cheese and meat and still look.
Still be svelte and do fashion and just, I love it. I love Paris and I love how rude the Parisians are. I've never had people like, I love chatting to people in French, like, je parle un très petit français, c'est très mauvais, and get into a little bit and then they're like, just speak English person. Like,
Stop trying.
yeah. Yes, in France, we don't like it when people try. You just be. It's very existential, isn't it? So I love that. I love the diet. I went to every bit of France I go to, I discover something new and magical. So one year I went to host an awards thing at Cannes when the TV festival was on. It's called like MIP, I think. And two things in Cannes. Everyone had Pomeranians.
Okay.
And people were carrying them in papooses. And in buggies.
It's too cute.
Come on.
Little
It's
fluffy babies.
absolutely. And then on the street in Cannes, I found this amazing. There were condom vending machines. That's how assured French people are that they're going to get laid at any moment. That they need a vending machine on the street with like, would you like to, voulez-vous coucher avec moi? I have a condom. We are ready to go. We are going to be sexy and dirty, but we will be safe. And I love it. I just love that. Yeah. So that was,
that is so French. Like if the British were going to have vending machines, they'd be full of fucking Xanax or some shit. Right. Something for our anxiety. Something, oh my God, another cue. Fuck. Give me some serotonin.
Yeah. We need, well, I'm surprised we haven't snoozed more because the Norwegians snooze, don't they? I think it's because it's quite dark there. It's very stunningly beautiful. Landscape a lot like Scotland, like stunning and then just depressing weather sometimes, cold, depressing. Yeah. So you just need that constant nicotine going. Whereas the French are like, no, you need to see me smoking the Gaulois. I'm not I'm not doing that. I just love it. I love the just love walking down by the river. I love the Pompidou. I love that. In fact, I went to the Pompidou. So last year in like October, we went to Paris and I was doing a couple of shows and we went to, it was 100 years. Was it 100 years or was it 150 years of surrealism at the Pompidou? And as I started going around the exhibition, I immediately got my period. And that is how powerful Salvador Dali is.
Just look at him and it's like, there we go.
Yeah. You must bleed.
You must bleed, woman.
But I love that the French are sort of the vanguard or at the front of all of these artistic movements and expression and they're big into the comedy over there as well. They have a slightly different sensibility to us, but they love it. So we share that with them. So there's only that little bit of water, isn't there? There's just a channel between us.
So you're saying, would you retire to France? Is that your plan?
I think so. Although I think my husband's Scottish Italian, so I think he wants to go to Italy. Right. But I got to learn
Summer
Italian.
one place and
winter the other. Yeah. That's it. I think it's a tough choice. I was going to say like which way round would you do it, but I could easily retire to France and.
Summer in Italy, winter in Paris.
Yeah.
That'll be nice. That's chic.
Yes, very chic.
Yeah.
And they do say that about me.
Tiff Stevenson.
Chic. Yeah. I think you should get employed by the tourism board, Tiff. Honestly, I'm excited. I'm actually going to France after the Fringe. I'm going to Bordeaux and then I'm going to Nice. And I've never been. I went on a school trip years ago, but I've never been to France before. But now I'm so excited to go. So
yes,
we're going to get lots of wine.
I think. We went on a school trip to Paris. We went on the ferry and then we got on a coach and we went to Paris. So I went to the Eiffel Tower. That was the first time I saw that when I was at school. But I saw the reverse recently. I was in Folkestone and I saw a bunch of like French students. Honestly, I don't know what's wrong with me because the sight of it nearly made me cry. I like choked up. There was this queue of little and they had their like caps on for l'école, whatever school they're from, and they were queuing up in Folkestone. There's I've been there for a week like filming a thing, and on my last day I took myself for a nice lunch down by the harbour, and there's like a fishing museum there, And so they'd obviously come over, been round the fishing museum, and then there's a seashell shop. So they were queuing up with their trip money, their pocket money. And I was like, oh, I think it's because the world is so horrible.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you see something that's really pure like that, you're like, oh my God, bless them. And they're all in a little queue. And I just go, I think it's remembering when life was as simple as that, when you'd go on a school trip and you had your coins or your five or whatever it was, you know, and you had your little bit of money that you could buy a rubber or a something on your little trip.
A seashell with your name on it.
Yeah. So
that was the big thing. Get your name on something.
But there would be no French names, so I had to just get one that said Claire. That's so sweet.
Yeah. Where's my Jean-Luc? Yeah, but they were like, but I really was like, oh, I guess because it reminded me of me and just any school trip you went on there to a museum, you'd be trying to get something to bring home. And I thought, I love that still happens.
Yeah.
And I love that the local business has got this like influx of little French kids.
Little French kids getting their seashells.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Any other things that bring you joy other than France?
Well, I'm up here for the month, so I'm not with my cat. So my cat does bring me joy. Cats are amazing because I just like how much they don't give a fuck about you.
Like the Fringe.
Well, no, my cat can be very clingy, but I like that he decides, like dogs, they love everyone, and I love dogs.
Yeah.
Actually, dogs, and when I'm out and about, I'm going to sound like a complete mental person, but I have to acknowledge dogs and babies because they get annoyed if I don't.
No,
so
I get it.
When you're out and about, if a dog sees you and is like, you have to like go, hello, I see, like they're a person because they are.
They are. They're sentient. They're like, I was walking on the bridge there and there was a little sausage dog with blue eyes, which I've never seen before. A sausage dog with blue eyes. And he was like walking alongside me and he kind of looked up and I was like, hello, you've got blue eyes. That's different. And he's like, as if he's going, I know. Everybody comments on it. Blue-eyed boy, they call me.
Yeah, you have to say hi, you have to see them. And I once had a baby when I was in a restaurant. This is really funny to me. So she was a baby that had like very little hair but almost like a full set of teeth, you know, like when babies develop at different, like some babies get all their hair really quickly and then it takes a while for teeth or whatever. So she had like a little swirl of hair here but like full teeth. And I walked into this, it was like a sushi restaurant or something, and as I walked in, this baby, I swear to God, I think it's because I've got quite a cartoonish face as well maybe, but this baby pointed at me and went, like this, and I was like, hi, and she was like slapping her tray and then like pointing at me like, and I was like, did I know this person in a past life? Because I swear to God, I walked in and she was like, oh my God, this bitch. Can you believe? Like, you want to see what she was up to last night? It was like that. It was like there was a recognition that it was someone that I knew. She was just like, oh my, I can't believe you're here. What's going on? And her mum went, I've literally never seen her do that to anyone before.
Oh my God.
So I was like, I've probably got some weird past life.
With this baby.
With your baby. We knew each other. We knew each other in another way. She was like, I've never seen her do that. Ever.
That's hilarious.
But she's like banging the tray, like, oh my God. Oh,
it's like you again.
Yeah. How she embarrassed herself last night. This one over here. It felt like that. And I was like, oh. So I do like that's the thing that I do like. I like saying hello to dogs and babies. But cats, yeah. I do love cats, in spite of the fact that I have to pick up sick from that's the best alarm, by the way, if you're unable to get up, a cat vomit alarm. I think JML should I think JML should come up with a version of this where you're just, you know, especially if you switch your phone off, but if you hear you know, that dry retch, if you hear that coming from another room, you're out of bed so quickly.
So quickly.
I don't even have a cat, and I think that would work for me as well. I'd be like, what is that? What's that noise?
I have two cats. I've spoken about this in the pod already. One of them can get to fuck. She's just decided to start shitting everywhere, but she's old, right? And my mum and dad are staying with us at the moment, and every morning all I hear is my dad going, for fuck's sake! Nearly said, I'm like, Dad, she shits in the same place every morning, and I don't understand why it's a shock to you. You've been here for 2 weeks now. Like, that's where she shits now. She shits directly in front of the cat litter box. It's a protest. We have no idea why she's doing it. But maybe just don't walk that way in the morning, right? Or don't be so shocked every morning. Wake me up with him going, for God's sake! Even my little boy, he calls it poo patrol. He goes, poo patrol.
Oh my God.
Patrol. I'm like, don't touch it. It's disgusting. Oh, it's bad. We're going to need to. I don't know what we're going to need to do. But I can't do
Mine
much
goes
more of it.
outside for the pooping. So
that's
they've
good.
never been out. One of them goes outdoors a little bit. The one that shits has never been interested in going outdoors.
Right.
Never. But like, I mean, they're old cats. We've had them. They're 17, and we rescued them and we hand fed them, and so they've been a big part of the family. And but it is now again. I took her to the vets and I thought, she's old. Yeah. It's like, she's so sprightly. There's nothing wrong with her. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, mine's 15, and they're saying now that there's a new thing, because I think it's like kidney function that goes quite a lot on cats.
Yeah.
That there's a new like injection or something that they can have that helps them stabilize that, and they were like, and if that is widespread rolled out, they could like live to 30 years.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
I'm not giving her that. I can't do another 12 years of picking up shite. No thanks. I think I would do that for her. She's joyful.
I think once they've gone past the point you can't do it, but I think they were saying like there's if you get them before, it will be a new thing, so they will live even longer. Because I want a tortoise as well. My husband keeps saying no.
And they live for ages.
I would have loved a tortoise. My best friend's mum had a tortoise when we were growing up. It did eventually pass away, but she'd had it since she was a child.
Wow.
And it used to the only thing is like you have to put them away for like such a long period of time, and every year she'd go, fuck the tortoise. Where is it? Get the tortoise. Where's
Does it
the
go
tortoise?
like in the airing cupboard for like months?
For like 4 months or something, and then obviously if you've forgotten about something 4 months later, you're like, oh shit.
Did I chuck it out by accident? Oh my God, did I have a clean out?
I know.
But I mean, would they make good pets? I feel like they don't really do very much, tortoises, right?
I think that's kind of their vibe.
Is
Like,
that
I think
just
they're
chilling?
probably, do you know, like for all of us suffering from the high anxiety of being alive, a tortoise is probably quite good. They were like that was probably why they were so common after the war.
Right.
Like that was like it was like
really?
it was a regular pet. But I think it was probably because it was quite calming. It was probably quite good for all the PTSD.
Yeah, just chill with the wee tortoise. Yeah.
Well, just watching it get about, and kind of sometimes you look at things in the world and you go, I exist and that exists and we're so different, and that's quite cool. That was my one thing that I had. Well, I'm going to sound like a mad person, but I felt like pre-lockdown I sort of like predicted that stuff was going to be taken away. We were in it sounds mad. I actually came up with a plot of a film, and it was COVID. It was basically an illness that everyone got, and then it was how they handled it, like knowing that loads of people were going to be like, and people who went like kind of crazy and religious and joined cults, and then people, and then but then mine was this, and then this would sound like I'm like a conspiracy theorist, but this wasn't. This was before COVID, and then you find out the government was trying to like thin the herd and like decrease population, so they thought, well, let some people take themselves out. And then you find out that the disease was spread purposefully. But anyway, so it was like a film idea that I had. But I had this really weird feeling. I think it was like January, like we'd gone to America in like December 2019. We were there like January 2020. And we were in New York, and it was just like unseasonably hot. We were walking along the High Line in January in New York. And I had to take my jacket off. I was like, what's going on? It felt quite apocalyptic. Yeah. So it could have been that triggered it in me. And then we flew to San Francisco, and we drove down the Pacific Coast Highway, which is a thing I'd always really wanted to do. And I just kept going to places and crying.
Oh, wow.
And I felt like, I was like, you have to appreciate this. There's this restaurant called Nepanthe, and a friend of mine, my friend Steve, he's coming over on Monday actually. He lives in New York. He had this mug, and I was like, what's that? And he was like, oh, it's this restaurant on Big Sur. and it's got like amazing views. So I look up the restaurant and I'm like, I really want to go here. When I get there, it is so like out of this world. And I walk into the restaurant at the counter. I literally burst into tears when I get in there, and she's like, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And I was like, I can't believe I'm here. And I started crying. And then it went out. I will show you pictures after the podcast. It's like the most incredible, just like all the rolling waves and these big redwood trees, and like so stunning. So I cried at that. And then we went to a place that had like, it wasn't Seal Bay, it was further down, but they had lots of sea otters. And there's signs around the town for the sea otters. And we went to this restaurant and we sat on the deck and I watched them basically frolic. And then they were like swimming around, and then one flipped on its back and had an oyster shell and was like trying to crack the oyster. And you know when you see an animal doing the thing that is famous for doing, like I lost my mind. I was like crying again, going, look at you know, like to my husband, and then trying to film it. And he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm not sure that I am okay. I don't know what's going on." I'm getting very emotional. And then I was watching a video of a family that saw a pod of whales, and they start crying and I'm crying. And so I was crying a lot at nature and things. And it felt like I really, in the moment, I felt like I should really appreciate this, because I feel like it's going to be taken away. And then 2 months later, it was taken away. Like that ability to be able to just go and
see them.
But it filled me with, and this is about joy, it filled me with a real sense of wonder of like your place in the world and the universe. So when you look at the tortoise or when you look at the sea otter and go, yet we both exist. I'm so different to this thing fundamentally. And I get such pure joy from like watching it do its thing.
Just exist.
But it exists. And how is that? It's like some kind of magic.
That's so lovely.
I know, that's gorgeous.
Amazing.
I feel bad because now we have to ask the other question.
Yeah, I know. So Tiff, what kills your joy?
Some of the perimenopause symptoms I'm feeling. I mean, two things. Actually, ageism is probably a bigger one. Okay. Ageism kills my joy. I do find, and maybe I feel it more when I'm up at the Fringe for a month, because there's such an obsession. And I came here as, you know, in my late 20s, the first time I started coming to the Fringe. But I feel like people get more interesting as they get older. Yeah. And so I can appreciate, and I feel very tender towards younger people, but I don't like it when we just kind of get into this place where we just like dismissing. I mean, that's why I loved seeing Pamela Anderson, who we were talking about earlier, like having this career renaissance at she's in her 50s now, isn't she? Her late 50s.
56 or something.
Yeah. And like Leanne Morgan, who's an American comic who just got a Netflix special last year or the year before, in her late 50s. So I like the idea that the best is yet to come. But I do feel like we, as a society, we need a societal shift about how we perceive age, because I think we've got a much more aging population. And I think in something like 2050, there's going to be more, for the first time ever, there'll be more over 65s than there are under 15s. Oh. So we've got this real kind of how we think about people are living a lot longer, how we think about growing older and stuff, and how we sort of approach discussions or not dismiss people as if they have no value when they start to get older. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember Lynn Ruth Miller.
Yes, I remember.
You know, like who started stand-up in her 70s. And I just loved her because there was no one like her. She was doing it in her 80s and she still had like fierce ambition. And so I'm very much banging that drum to try and sort of say, for me, I have to, and it's a mental shift as well, I have to think about the possibility that the best could be yet to come. What if my finest moments are in front of me, not behind me? So I'm saying society needs to shift, but we all internalize it as well, of like going, well, it's not going to happen if I haven't done it by this point, or I haven't done it by this age, then it's not going to happen for me. And then I look at people like Frank Lloyd Wright, who I really like mid-century modern sort of furniture, architecture, all of that kind of stuff, all that 50s, you know, 40s, 50s, 60s architecture. And he made all these amazing buildings and then was like dismissed sort of as a bit of a like has-been and a bit embarrassing in his 40s. Mm-hmm. They were like, this man is done. And then he went on to design, do you know Falling Water? It's in, I think it's in Pennsylvania. It's like a American heritage site. So it's a house. If you see the picture of it, you might go, I've seen that before. This amazing house with a waterfall going through it.
Oh, wow.
So that's falling. And he designed he did that. I think he was like 86 or 82. And he did the Guggenheim when he was 90.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like, those are like iconic landmark. His like most famous works he did
at the end of his life.
The end of his life.
It's things like, you know, you see it all the time on Instagram, like Vera Wang had not ever designed it until she was 50. Samuel Jackson didn't make his first movie till he was in his 40s. Yeah. Like there's quite a lot of very famous people who didn't start doing whatever it is they're famous for doing until they were in their mid or later in life.
Yeah. Well, it can turn you bonkers because we were talking about age earlier and kind of going, but like 30 under 30. You're like, how about 50 over 50? Right? Can we give me something, you know, like, because it just does, it sets it up for you to, like, I wrote myself off. I was like, well, if I haven't made it by this point, I remember leaving my job and going, well, if I haven't made it in acting, then I'll probably have to accept it. And it's something like 21. Yeah. And I was like, most people haven't even left drama school. But I just like written myself off in my head and I've just gone, well, it's never going to happen then.
And I think I was the same, like you and I are the same age. And I remember sitting in my car crying when I turned 21 because I hadn't achieved the things that I felt that I should have achieved by the age of at 21.
Wow.
And then I had this weird thing about getting married before I turned 30. Like, you know, I was like, oh, and, you know, I had been in a long-term relationship, got engaged when I was 28, I think. And I got married 4 months after my 30th birthday. But it was so stupid because I was just like, I need to be married before I'm 30. I was like, oh my God. And like,
that's true, because I had that as well.
So, it's like a weird societal.
There was something about like, I was like, and I got married at 29 and it just kind of happened that way. But why is it in there? That doesn't make any. I think also for women, you've got the layer of like, we're also not allowed to age. We have to look. Yeah. And if you, as soon as you're past 30, you're like, well, that's it. You're not, you know.
Get on the scrap heap, Pen.
Get on the Botox and get on the scrap heap. So,
yeah. I'm married in my 40s. Yeah. But I think all the best things that have happened to me have probably happened in my 40s.
Yeah.
You know, so that's like a lot of men come into their power, so to speak, in their 40s and have this exciting. If you look at all that, like the Pedro Pascals and the people like that who are like, now they're having their big moments. Yeah. Like, why can't women have that at those same ages and beyond? You know, why are we locked into this idea that if you gotta, you know, but I think I talk about this in my show, but I definitely would have been tried as a witch, because I wasn't married at 40, you know, and so it's this idea that there's who's writing this timeline that you have to do it by this point, but we do it. We often put pressure on ourselves and we internalize it because it is the messages. Yeah. That are around us. And the only thing about getting married in your 40s is people get obsessed about what you're going to wear.
Really?
Like I said I was wearing a dress and you get people going, in your 40s?
Really?
What about a suit? There's a lot of that kind of chat. Do you know what I mean? So, but I liked it because I got to have the day I wanted to have, which is be surrounded by my friends and family, and in this post-COVID, because we got engaged before COVID, but I was never that bothered about being married. You know, I already assumed that we were a family. We've been together 17 years, you know, like, so, but but it was nice to be able to do it a bit further down the line and be able to go, no, this is what and I think sometimes when you're younger and you get married, you can get pressured into keeping everyone else happy.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
You know? So I just like the idea that we go, I mean, they talk about second acts, don't they? You know, but the idea that you can be like, actually, this is this phase and I can pivot, I can do what I want. I can, you know, I want to see someone who's written their first novel in their 60s.
Yeah.
And had a hit, you know, that we don't,
sorry, that was just
that was ageism on your watch.
Absolutely. But I think it's quite heartening to see within comedy a lot of women in their 40s and 50s and beyond getting a bit further forward than maybe actors and actresses are, or even in theatre and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think like Deirdre O'Kane and you know, and the whole host of American. I mean, a lot of the American Netflix specials are all women, 35 plus, 40 plus.
Yeah. Well, Nikki Glaser just kind of getting her. What did she say? I'm on my last 30.
Yeah. But yeah, so I feel like it's not as depressing as it was maybe when we started stand up, you know, in our 20s, and it was very much. And there still is that. There's still that. You know, you see when some of the lists are coming out today, and you know, it is a lot of. Okay, well, that is all the same people that have been getting everything for the last couple of years. So I'm not, you know, and they're all under 30 or they're all under 35.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we're here too.
Exactly. But that's a nice sentiment that like the best is yet to come, you know.
Should we finish off with our Hannah's headlines?
I bring in a news story. So I just put in that it was all the grades are coming out recently, and all the kids are getting their exams. And I think it's interesting because I think in comedy a lot of us don't use our degrees, and you know, and if you have great results, that's fine. But if you don't, there's still other things that you can do. Like, were you good at school, Tiff? Did you enjoy school?
I did, and I didn't enjoy school. I was very. I liked the stuff that I liked, and if I didn't like it, it got quite short shrift. Although I did, I was supposed to go into college, and I changed my mind like a week before and decided I wanted to get a job. But in my GCSEs, I think I got like 4 A's, 4 B's.
Oh, that's great.
And 2 C's or something. And one of the A's I got was in my English exam, and I walked in 20 minutes late because I saw my boyfriend on the way there. On his pizza bike. He worked for Pizza Hut, and I thought it was more important to just stop and chat with him than it was to go on and achieve anything academically in my low expectation high school. So I but genuinely did get a double A in the English ones.
Well, and maybe it's because you stopped and had a chat.
Yeah,
and you were relaxed.
I was like, those were my areas that I was gifted. You know, that I think it was 4. Or did I get? Yeah, no, I feel like there were 10. So, but that was I always sort of felt like I was going to go on and do journalism. That's what I was going to do. I was going to do A levels, and then I don't know what happened. I just went, I don't want to. I just thought like a week before I went, I feel like I want to get a job. I want to get into the world and start working. And then I feel like the experience of working has probably given me, and doing all of the crazy jobs that I've done over the years has given me a lot to talk about. Whereas, you know, and for acting, I found it quite helpful because I'd lived and I'd done weird jobs, boring jobs that people hate, crazy stuff. And I'd actually lived. I didn't just go to drama school and learn how to act. Like, because to learn how to act, you have to live.
Yeah, you need real life experience. Sure. Exactly.
Yeah.
Were you good at school? No, I didn't think so.
No, I got suspended and expelled from schools. Like I was a fucking nightmare. I would have been like, would have definitely been diagnosed with something. So I am dyslexic, which I didn't find out until I'd finished school and university. I didn't fit in at school. I was very different to everybody around me, and it's quite strange because I still am best friends with the 5 girls who I did go to school with, but there was definite periods in our relationship where they were like, what's wrong with you? You know, like I just didn't. I can't even go, I didn't go to the beat of my own drum. There wasn't a drum, there was a bassoon and a fucking trumpet and Jesus, God knows what else. And I used to fight. I hated bullies. I had a whole thing about, and I still do hate bullies. And I used to just be like, no. So, you know, whether it was me getting bullied or some kid I'd never met, I'd be like right in there, you know, getting involved. So I'd get suspended and stuff commonly.
Are you quite... just not the word, sensitive to injustice?
Yes, incredibly.
Yeah. So I have that. I have like a very, like a real get angry, get upset at the idea of like something being unfair or someone being mean to someone.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that sort of, just total. I used to really upset me, and I wasn't particularly not academic. I was probably quite. There's some things that I was quite smart at. I was never good mathematically or anything. I have dyscalculia as well as dyslexia. I think my dyscalculia was worse because I actually was good at English because I created stories in my head.
Yeah,
and
the imagination.
one of those things you were talking about with Injustice was I was accused of plagiarising a story that I had written. And this is obviously before Google or anything like that. And I'd written this story and I'd written it at home. I brought it in. It was for something in S3 or S4. And the teacher had accused me of plagiarising it, and I remember being so angry that I was crying because I was like, no, I did. And then my mum came to school, which was uncommon because she was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, but she was really angry on my behalf because I had sat one day, like I'd be done it at home, and she'd seen me do it, and she's like, no, she came up with that, she talked about it, she wrote the story, and I remember being really angry at that. But I did quite well at English, and then I dropped out. Well, I did 6 year, but then I went when everybody was filling in their UCAS forms. I was like, no, I'm gonna go and do drama.
Yep.
And everybody was like, it was a real time of, oh, if you don't go to university, what are you going to do type thing. Because that was like the age we were. It was all about going to university, which is backfired tremendously on
some of the courses.
Oh, for fuck's sake. And I went and I went to college and I did an HND in drama and theatre arts. And then I went to drama school and I did community art. I ended up doing a community arts degree. I ended up going to university, which was a shock to everybody. And I really excelled at the course that I did because it was a hands-on helping people through the arts, and I loved it. I loved that course, and I didn't enjoy drama school as much because it was full of cunts.
Well, they all congregate in places like that, so
they do. It was my first experience of rich kids, really. Like really rich kids, like privileged kids. Like I'd grown up with some people whose parents had done well, like, they had their own businesses, and my own dad had done quite well at his own business and
upwardly
stuff. But
mobile.
That's different to rich kids. Privileged rich kids. I couldn't cope with it. I was just like, what is going on? But
well, thanks so much for coming on the pod, Tiff.
Yeah, thank you so
Thanks
much
for having me.
This comes out after the Fringe is finished, so
it's really good for promo.
Really good for promo of the Fringe. But if you want to tell the audience, where can they find you? What are you up to?
I will be doing some shows, some European shows straight after the Fringe. So I will be, if you're listening, I'll be doing Rotterdam, I'm doing Basel, Zurich, Geneva. And I'll also be in Luxembourg.
Ooh.
So I'll be doing shows there, and then some tour dates in autumn and the beginning of next year. So I will be announcing. Just come and find me on Instagram, actually. That's probably the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, what is your handle on Instagram?
Tiff Stevenson Comic.
Tiff Stevenson Comics. Give Tiff a little look. Yep. I am in London at the start of September at the Comedy Store, and then I am... just all over the place.
I'm in France, and now you're invited because I'm on holiday, so don't follow me. That would be weird. Just follow me on Instagram and we'll see what's happening. But cool.
Thanks so much for
listening.
Thanks so much.
I'll
see you next week. Bye.